Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki
Jai.
These two questions are very interlinked. Two questions, very interlinked. The first is, who does the I represent? Who does the I represent? And the second question is, what are you right about? Because we feel like we are right about so many things. But the foundation on top of which the building of being right has been erected itself is shaky because we don't know who we are. So the I is just a presumed one. And that I is the basis of all other mental knowledge. And life seems to be shaky, full of suffering, because we want stability from this ever-changing set of concepts. We want stability from this world which everybody knows, even a child knows it is constantly changing. We want stability from this. Our ideas about the world and ourselves are also constantly changing. And we want stability from this. So no wonder life seemed like a roller coaster. So both these are worth looking at. When we say I, who does it represent? Who are we talking about? You might say, I want freedom. Just these three words. I want freedom. And what happens? Quickly we start looking at the freedom part of it. We're usually looking at the suffix. Predicate. Mostly the predicate part of it. Grammar. So I want this, I want happiness, I don't want pain. Really. The I part is just presumed. And we quickly rush to see how can we sort out the second part. Hardly anyone investigates the first part. Sound is not so good. So maybe we can.
You test on this time.
How is the sound now? Better? So who does this I represent? And we attach so many things to this I. I am like this. I am not like that. We don't know any of this because we don't know the I. So this is what I meant by the second part of the question. Or the second question is, what am I right about? We feel like, oh, this is true. This is valid. This is something I definitely know. But we don't, because the main part, which is the I part itself, is unknown. So another way of asking this is to ask, which concept are you unwilling to let go of? Or which set of concepts are we unwilling to let go of? And usually they are those that we've invested a lot in. And we feel like if I just take it through, I will come to something because of this. Like the prodigal son, think that I will make it eventually because I've taken the step to step away from my father. I'm going to prove to him in the world that I can make it. That is the egoic version of trying to become God. You are seeking to become God. You are seeking to find oneness. But your starting point already is that. And when you investigate into the nature of this I, you will find this. Now what happens is that on this side of the I am is the amusement park. You see, on this side of perception is the amusement park. There's got so much variety, so much cotton candy, so much, masala, spices, everything is on this side. So you can feel like, yeah, I can just look at this stuff and this stuff and this stuff and get some joy, get some bliss, feel some suffering, feel some love, feel some heartbreak, feel some this thing. Really, that's the amusement park. But on the other side of perception, the one that is looking itself, you see, there is no power, there is no quality, there is no attribute. There is nothing that you can actually verbalize, speak of. That's why we keep going back to the amusement park to find something which is unchanging, which is just not possible. It's like trying to get on the roller coaster and wanting to have a stable life. Is it possible? You tie yourself to a roller coaster and want to be just at peace. So, if all that is phenomenal is on one side, that which witnesses the phenomenal, what can we say about that? Say, I am aware of my existence. I witness the world. I am. This I, before am, which one is that? You cannot compute your way to this answer. You can think for a million lifetimes. Every moment you can think about this answer, and you will still not get it. You can come up with a lot of intellectual garbage. You will not get it by thinking about it. You will not get it in the content of the world, and you will not get it to mental and intellectual pursuit. At best, the power of intellect can be used to say, I am not this, not this, because this is changing, not this, because this is changing, not this, because this is coming and going. The best use of the intellect maybe in our spiritual pursuit is this way, as a negation, as a negation. I cannot be just this. I cannot be just this. But the intellect will not solve what you are, not solve it in the content, the percepts of the world, and you cannot solve it in the concepts of the mind. To give up on these two for a moment, stop your meditating, let it go on. Stop doesn't mean that thought should stop. Stop only means that you don't bother about them. Let them come and go. Let the world be as it is. What is aware of your existence? Maybe for a minute we can clarify what we mean by existence. I chased existence for a few years. I chased this I am for a few years. The statement itself is ludicrous, of course, but it felt like I chased this I am for many years. I couldn't find it. And one day it just showed up. That which was always there just showed up. So I realized that a better question to ask is not whether you can find being, whether you can find your Atma, but whether you can stop being. And stop being. Just try to stop being. Don't be. Don't exist. In inverting the question, truth is completely apparent. I am. Your existence has nothing to do with the thought I am. If you stop thinking for a minute, you will not vanish. You still will be. Now, what is aware of this existence? Who is aware of it? Who is aware of it? What is the size of that one? Who is aware of your presence, your existence? Does this one have a birthday? Does this one have desires and aversions? Is this one the doer or the non-doer? What concept is true here? Now this I, which you can see is beyond being or non-being. You cannot apply any of these labels also to it. Neither existence nor non-existence. For some reason decided to wake up in a manifest way. Decided to start aiming. Decided to, well, decided to, take the words decided to too literally. That which is beyond being and not being, now you are. Am is here. Sense of amness, sense of being present is here. All is here. In your very existence, all things are present. Your being is the substratum of the existence of anything. Now, what is the need to be something? Your being is here, but you need to be something. Don't attach to anything. Don't make a reference point about yourself. Don't give yourself a center. Don't refer to any object, any sensation, any feeling as yourself. All of spirituality is about how not to attach to this idea of something, how not to pick up a notion about yourself. When the mind gives you the invitation to accept a notion about yourself, you can inquire into the validity of the notion, or just let it go, surrender it. So this inquiry or surrender is what is called sometimes called the direct path. There are many, many, many thousands of ways in which you can play with your attention and try to direct it away from the mental constructs. And all of those become the basis of practice or spiritual sadhana. But I am inviting you to check and see that you are empty of all notions about yourself right now. And your presence is the only presence. Whether you call it the presence of God or the infinite consciousness, terms don't matter.
What does it mean to inquire into the validity?
So he says, the mind will come and say, but this is what I need to do to get freedom, for example. So when you say, this is what I need to do, you can inquire and say, who is the I that is bound? Because at the center of all these mental notions is the notion of the meaning. So inquire into it and find whether it is valid or not. So, for example, what could the mind say to you? Do this, like you were saying the other day. Do this and you will be free. You see? But do you know this I who is bound? Huh? Exactly. So
make my way to the room of
yes. So how is it? How is it? How is it that you presume? How is it that you presume that there is a bound one sitting there? We haven't found this one. How do you know it wants freedom? Maybe the one that is sitting there is too free. He is super bored of your freedom. You don't know. You see, but how is it that our default position becomes bondage? Like you say nicely, you say, I'm still looking for that one that wants freedom. So how come we take, if we don't even know this one, how come we take the presumption of bondage for granted and we start the search for freedom? Isn't it important to clarify? It is the mind which tells us these kind of things. It says that you are not complete, you need something to complete yourself, you need relationship, you need money, you need better body, and ultimately you would say you need freedom. Okay? But this you, like you said, that needs all of these things, you have not found. And can I tell you something? Nobody has ever found this one. Nobody has ever found the one that needs anything at all. Nobody has found because it does not exist. I looked, I did not find. The one that was incomplete, the one that is limited, does not exist, has never been found. Just a presumed idea, just a presumption.
You actually look for it, isn't it? It's like almost the same as being like, I get confused at that point because it's like, it's not in the thoughts,
It's not in the thoughts,
it's not in anything perceivable.
not in anything perceivable. What else is there? Good, this is good checklist. So he says where to look for in this one. You see? Then he said, good, he said, not in the thoughts, not in anything perceivable. So that includes thoughts also. Is there something else which is there about you besides all that is perceivable? Are you just something which is perceivable? Or there's something about you which is beyond perception?
Is that right?
No, I'm asking you.
Or that must be
Must be is just presume. What's your experience?
presumed.
So the one that was in the realm of perception is presumed. The one that must be beyond perception is also presumed. So drop both these perceptions and stay with what you actually find. Possible? Very possible. It's very possible. So you say it is not in thoughts. In fact, it is not in anything perceivable. So I said, is there something more to you than just that which is perceivable?
Yes.
Yes. Is that changing? Not changing. Everything that is an object of perception, we call it an appearance. Isn't it? Why do we call it an appearance? Because it is our experience that everything that comes as an object also goes to appear with appearance. There will be disappearance. But that's why the question is valid. Is everything about you limited to the realm of your perception? Or is there something about you which is not in perception? Are you just a set of perceptions? Are you just an appearance?
But is that the same question as asking who's that desires in
So don't investigate the question. In the sense, don't investigate whether this question is the same question or not the question. You answer the question.
but that's the question we started with.
It doesn't matter what it was, what we started with or not. You answer the question. Why you want to change it for another question of whether it is the same question or not? Easy.
But then I feel like I'm like, there's like two questions.
There are no two questions. There, just answer this question.
What's the question?
Are you an appearance? In the sense, are you just a bundle of perception? Is there something about you which is not a perception?
Let's see how to go about doing it otherwise, other than.
There's no how to.
But then isn't it the same as being motionless?
It could be, but that's not the question at this point. See, look, you don't have to cook this meal. You know what I mean? You're figuring out how you will be able to do this. You see? I'm telling you to answer the question. It means that the meal is here, you just have to eat it. You're figuring out how to cook this at home. You see, what is the recipe? I'm saying you answer it now. Is there something about you which is not a perception? Let's go one by one. Everything about you go one by one. And we'll say whether perception or not.
Let's say everything that I consider to be
Yes.
body.
Body is perception or no? Perception. That is perception. What else? Feeling is perception. Perception. Then body, feeling, thought, also perception. Emotion, perception. What else? Huh? That's about it. So did the body see the body? Did the thought see the body? Did the emotion see the body? Is there anything else that you said about you? Feeling, emotion. So none of this saw the body. Then who did? How did you see the body? If this is all there is to you, body, thought, feeling, emotion, then who saw the body? But we said these are the aspects of the me. Which part got missed out then? You know what I'm asking? We said, let's talk about all the various aspects that you consider yourself to be, You said body, thought, feeling, emotion, sensation, all this. And we said all of this is perception. Then we went one by one and see which one saw the body. So you see that the body did not see itself, the thought did not see the body, the feeling did not see the body. Then who did? You did. You did. And yet it was none of these things. It was none of these perceptions that were the witness to another perception. So then who is a witness to these perceptions? Yes, it is you. This one is, what can you say about this one? Little bit? Is this one in the amusement park, as you defined it earlier? Okay, now get rid of this one. Yeah. The body will go, feelings will go, thoughts will go, all the other sensations, perceptions are coming and going. We've had the experience of them coming and going. But this one, push it away. Do it. But there's usually a lot of doubt, a lot of but which the mind will now bring up. And I've seen that one comes and it gets on belief. So I'm very happy to have that conversation if it comes like that and you do end up believing a but, a doubt.
It just feels the same as just saying notions.
Yes.
I don't see a difference.
Now, this I that is making this confusion is the same one that you discovered yourself to be just now.
It's not.
It's just a thought. So it's like to come to the Leela Palace. There are 5 different roads. Now, when you get to the Leela Palace, are you so concerned about why did I take this road? I could have taken that road. I could have taken this road. Doesn't matter. The sages are not pointing to many different things. They are all pointing to the same thing using different pointers. The but is always the but which says, but then what does it mean for me? I found that there is no such me. I found that there is no such me. I found that I am the unchanging, primal, witnessing itself. But what about me?
It's not a doubt.
It cannot be a doubt without that, inherently there somewhere. Let's try one without it.
I guess, yeah.
See, inherent in whatever, it might even sound like a very technical thing. It might sound like a very technical Advaita question, but actually inherent is that is, but now, what is the me supposed to do? Right? But now, how should I do this or should I do that? See, which one are we representing again?
But Ananta, I asked you in the beginning where
Yeah.
to look for the full side,
Yeah,
and then we ended up over here.
yeah.
I still have that question.
We looked at everything possible, no? Did you find one? And I said, I also looked, I didn't find. And I also said that everybody has looked and nobody has found. Vedika said one time that maybe you haven't found yet, but one day you could. Isn't it a presumption that just because we haven't found so far doesn't mean that?
Yes,
How do we are looking in the realm of perception
Yeah.
of
I just enjoyed the freshness of what you were saying. So where does it leave you? That's basically the question. Usually what happens after the inquiry is, where does that leave me?
So like a couple of things, yes, that's what this thing is.
Right.
And then I was telling you how I was saying how I asked you whether it's worth looking at the one who's paying a bit more attention to who's trying to accept all these like bits of viewership. And who on the broadcast here?
Can't hear too well, but yeah.
Yeah, So I a couple of days ago I was asking you whether, because the sense of doership is so strong, whether it's worth paying a bit more attention to this identity, because it's so sticky, and I recognize that it's really the troublemaker, because there have been moments when there's that distance between that I can see a distance between me and this sense of doership, and then there's a lot more space. Then I can start really. Then the clarity starts coming in, because this is producing a lot of fog, and so I was asking you whether it's worth paying more attention to this, because it feels like when I'm just remaining notionless, it's like the doer comes in through the back door quite often. He's still coming in through the back door, and I'm just like remaining notionless, and he's like still sneaking in the back door like frequently.
If you remain notionless, there is no back door. The back door is always a motion. Okay. You take an example of the back door.
Sorry.
Take an example of the back door without a notion.
Yeah, it's not.
The only possible back door is that the idea of remaining notionless itself.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the doer.
The only thing that happens sometimes is you get a migraine headache.
Sorry?
There's some who I say, whatever I could have said, you said, yeah, that's it. Sometimes we have no symptoms, we pick up the symptoms in satsang itself.
So what was I?
Where are you?
Well, so then I said, is it worth having a look at, paying a bit more attention to this one? And you said, well, does it give me more peace? And I was like, well, sometimes it just feels like it's even noisier. And then you're like, well, no, and you said, you told me just to stay with what gives me most peace. And then yesterday I was like, no, okay, I want to give it one more go. And then I've noticed now, if I pay more, if I'm like, I don't know, it's like I'm asking who's trying to do it, and then when these thoughts of doership come, it's like I'm observing them, and then it's like, I don't know. I guess after having been here for a couple months, now I'm starting to do this again. It feels like it is actually less strong in the world. So I guess it is losing power. Is that like looking for, when I'm doing that? Is that looking for the foci? Is that looking for the doer?
Let me change the question for a change. You tell me the duration for which you want to do this, and I will give you the right prescription.
Sorry, say again.
You tell me the duration that you want to seek for till you come to the truth, and I will give you the appropriate prescription. You want something that you can do for a year, 5 years, 10 years, 10 minutes, 1 moment, no time at all.
No time at all sounds pretty good.
No time at all sounds good? Yes? Mm-hmm. You are free now.
Okay.
This is true for every moment. In satsang, outside satsang, in Hong Kong, in Bangalore, in Tirunelveli, in Rishikesh, anywhere. There is no moment in which you can be bound. You're always only free. You're free right now. Completely. Your being is completely unbound, timeless. Now what will you do with yourself? This I don't know is very good.
Should I just forget about all this? So should I just forget about all the other stuff?
Yeah.
So don't bother trying to observe.
Forget about everything, not just this other stuff. Because many times you can feel like, oh, then should I forget about all this? Yes. But let me now pick up new stuff about other things. Don't burden yourself with a blade of grass.
But what I was trying to get to was that.
That was then. This is now.
But it is giving me like I went back to it, and I'm going back to it now because you said stick with what gives me most peace, right?
So I gave you a morsel yesterday. I'm giving you a lifetime pass to buffet at Lila now. If you want the morsel.
Okay, so you're free now is better than do whatever gives you most peace.
No. See, now you're making a position out of it. See.
I'll just shut up.
The words can come, the words can go. Everything can flow in its own way. Don't attach anything to yourself. Let everything flow.
But then if I don't address this question with you, I'm gonna go back and ponder, should I like look like this? Should I bother paying any attention to the doer?
Okay, so you want prescription for what duration?
But I don't want a prescription either.
Like
put it that way.
Because when I go back, then what should I do? Do you want to answer in time? Should we presume what is going to happen first and then say, okay, when I go back home, this is how it will be. Then I need to do something to bring myself to freedom or peace. Should we make all these presumptions first and you want to answer on all that basis? Or you want to be free now?
Free now is pretty good. Just do another loop. Do another loop.
Now are you bound?
No.
Done. You said I want to be free now. I say, are you bound? You say no. Done. There's no moment in which we can't have that conversation. Why you want to solve it for a moment which will never be there? Because in every moment you are unbound. Everything the mind will say will be in time. So again, we'll have that same conversation.
Yeah.
Say something from the mind which is not in time.
Hello?
It is me you're looking. It works in so many different ways. It's just like, so a lot of but, and usually the but can also be around things like, this can't be it. Can it just be this? Put this on. What have I been doing all these years? Really, it's like that, no? For the mind, it's a very disappointing thing. Anytime you see people who are doing like that, when they're having awakening experiences, it's because it's a face palm moment, as my kids would say. What? This was it? Is there something besides freedom that you wanted?
No.
You're not bound now. How will you trouble yourself now? I can see that you're constantly inviting the mind. Come on. It's kind of in a standstill because it's feeling kind of trapped because it's time, space, we've made all this condition. So it can feel like it's out of mood for a minute. In spite of the fact that you're inviting it like that, it's not coming up with something substantive.
But I'm not inviting it, it's just coming.
I know, but in the sense, what I mean by inviting is that by looking at you now with some experience of sharing satsang, I can tell that something is just like waiting for something which, something which you can
To do another loop.
to do a loop or something.
And then?
Then you'll be back here.
Do another loop. We do another loop.
We could be looping for many lifetimes. Maybe we have. one time when we wanted to go out with the family, we were at a nice place, maybe some beach. I don't remember where we were exactly, but this guy came and he had this pamphlets to the party, some party. And it's a lot more fun over there. It's a lot more fun over there. We were like, no, no, we're happy here. No, but you know what I'm saying? So you're here and you see that there is nobody that is bound, but the offering will keep coming. What future, what this, what that. You have to solve that. You have to. But if you can just see that there is nobody like that, there is nobody that the mind is telling you or I that ever existed. And all these offers become pointless. Yeah.
Sometimes I feel it is better not to explore nature even for a split second and to just live in illusion, because then I feel there is nothing you can do to give up. There are no tools available on this planet to live up to what you see. So it just seems like an extremely wasted treasure.
You see your true nature, and you're absolutely right that there is no way to live it, you see, but there is no way to not live it also. The idea that what you could then do is in contradiction or in opposition to what you have seen, you see, is also just an idea. You see? So neither can you be that, neither you can also in the play of the coconut not be that. You see? So neither in alignment nor in opposition. So life just then become life. That is the advantage of this recognition. That we cannot really take a position inwardly, although outwardly we might be saying this, but I like this, I don't like that. Yeah, this can happen. But inwardly, you see that none of this is applicable to the reality of what I am. You're absolutely right that no wave can ever truly represent the ocean. But no wave is ever truly in opposition to the ocean either.
Sometimes it only works out.
Huh?
It only works out that it's balancing you.
In the sense that the it's always like, how do I say? It is not even like something that has to resolve itself over time, and when looked in entirety, then you see that it is fine. Is it? Not even like that. Never from moment to moment can a wave represent the ocean truly, and never in any moment is it in opposition to it. Is it? So we don't have to look at the entire life cycle of the wave and then say, okay, ultimately it was all fine. Which is also not a bad thing to say, but I'm saying if you're really being objective about it. Like in this moment, neither can a phenomenal appearance represent the absolute, but it cannot do anything to be in opposition to it either. It is just not in the same plane. So then that is a beautiful unburdening, because many can then take on the burden that I have to live like that. You see, but who can live like the non-phenomenal one? Tell me one thing you can do. You see, I'm going to live like the non-phenomenal one. What is the one thing you can do to live like? You can't do. And what can affect, can you make anything, do something that can make a scratch or a dent on the absolute? Nothing. So then this life becomes more of a movie. And you, rather than taking yourself to be a movie character, then you start to see that you are more the light of this movie, or the source, or the very existence, the essence of the movie itself, and ultimately even that you are the witness of. Okay. There's one question. Can I ask you a question relating to our conversation? Where you asked me to watch Satsang again and saying, I feel the fundamental point is being missed. I would invite you to look at the Satsang again. Look at the concept of answers, understanding, and knowing. Can you say something to it as I didn't get what you mean? And I'll say a little bit because I feel like this contemplation, as frustrating as it might seem, is it? But it is important to go through that frustration. And I was inviting that day for you to look at, because you're feeling a bit frustrated that, okay, the question sometimes is X, but the answer seems to be, Martian. It's not in the same vocabulary at all. So it can feel like, but how did you answer the question? Really? So when I was saying that, look at the concept of answer, look at the concept of understanding and knowing. You see, I was inviting looking at, suppose the answer was perfect. You see, suppose the answer was perfect, and you heard something which really aided to your understanding, and you knew what the answer is now. How something is something, you knew it perfectly because the answer conveyed that. You see, and it's because it comes from a credible source, then it becomes an important part of your understanding. And that is the last thing I want to do. You see? That is the last thing I want to do. I don't want to add to your understanding at all. Because this kind of understanding, the right answer, the right knowing, you see, is all, they are all oxymorons actually. There is no such thing. So I don't want to replace one understanding with a new understanding. And it can feel like, oh, I have a better understanding now. So what would the answer be? No answer that is a concept now, especially, and I do this with some of you who've been in satsang long enough with me. You hear me in this way, that if I give you an answer, it will just become an answer. If you have a concept and I give you another concept, then it just replaces with a better concept. So I don't want to answer the question because it will give you an understanding. I want to confuse you, confound you, frustrate you, so that you throw away this entire endeavor to feel like you can ever know anything at all. And what you meet over there is a deeper knowing. So we were talking about spiritual avoidance, spiritual bypassing, and I was saying that avoidance is actually to put a label on something and pretend as if you know it. To meet it as a label is to avoid meeting it as it is. Now, to the mind, this not labeling sounds like it is bypassing because you're not calling fear, fear, you're not calling sorrow, sorrow, you're not calling grief, grief. And it's like, oh, you're just trying to avoid grief or suffering or sorrow. No, meeting it completely, but empty of the presumption, the false presumption that I know what it is. We have never experienced this thing that we call grief. Because what the label stands for is maybe one aspect of an emotion. But we never experience the same emotion also twice. So when we meet it as something, okay, and this applies to all labels. You can just say, man, I'm meeting a man. No, we never met a man. Every experience has been unique. When I'm meeting a cat, never met a cat. Cat means so many things. So, so the avoidance is to use a label and presume that I know what this is, but we don't know what this is. So, but that led to even more beautiful contemplation on what it means to know itself. The, the, the question on spiritual avoidance or bypassing led to an even more beautiful contemplation in what we mean by knowing. What do we mean by an answer? What do we mean by understanding? We don't know anything. And that is the best news. It is empty of this photocopy of life, empty of this conceptual version of life. When you meet life naked, you meet life open, defenseless. You just keep meeting concepts of, even concepts like spiritual concepts of uh, what things should be like, how life should be lived. Who has solved these things ever? Hmm. You don't know what anything is. Therefore, there is no real answer to anything about it. And for some time, I'll play this game with you where I will give you answers which seem to remove the question. I will give you answers which contradict the concept that you might have, and you might feel like there is spaciousness in that, and that is fine. But ultimately, this this idea that something can be known itself has to be confronted. We have to come face to face with that. You see? Because that is what keeps our arrogance. That I can know something, or in some cases I know better, or have seen the truth. That becomes the basis for arrogance. That becomes the basis for separation. Everything that we think we know, even the translation of our direct insight can lead to a sense of separation. But because I have seen this, you see, I have had this experience like that. See, nothing you want, nothing I want you to rely on mentally. They're fully naked from all of this because it will only cause trouble. It will only lead to suffering. I have no answers really. So it is the ego, it is the sense of separation, the sense, the idea, the belief in limitation has been our avoidance of the isness, avoidance of what is. It tells you that you have to meet life in labels, you have to meet life in motion, you have to know what something is, you have to work it out in your head, you have to resolve what is happening to you and come to a better position. And that is why the minute the invitation comes and you are invited to drop all concepts about yourself, for many of you, you experience some fear. Therefore, it is the concept itself which was an avoidance of this fear of the unknown. The minute you're left without crutches of concepts, there's a habitual, let's not call it natural, there's a habitual yearning to hold on to some concept. Therefore, what has been the avoidance? The avoidance has been the concept, not the dropping of it. The words are my heart. No story or idea is satisfying for my heart. Just not knowing is the best. Love you, Father. Love you too, my child. Very good. And you have to contemplate on it more. Very good. Thank you. What time did you start? You started at 11? I'm always telling people the wrong time immediately. When somebody asks me what time is Satsang, I'm always saying 4 o'clock and 11:30. But it's the other way, no? 4:30 and 11. I started at 11:30. Not a bit late. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Guru Shri Baba ki
Jai. Sadguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.
Guru Kripa ke